Hello, I'm John.
And I'm Matthew.
And today we're going over Unit 19, Anzacs Honored. And I guess this is about kind of a pretty tragic battle in the early 20th century involving Australia, New Zealand, and the old Ottoman Empire. And a lot of people died, and these days it's still being honored. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's been over 100 years, but it was a pretty big tragedy. And luckily they overcame it, and their side won that war. The Ottoman Empire disappeared.
That is true.
So it all worked out, but it was a very tragic battle and almost turned the tide of the war.
How much, sort of World War I history are you familiar with?
I know a fair bit, I guess. I listened to a podcast.
Everything.
I don't really like podcasts, but Hardcore History is a great podcast, and they did a 6 or 7 part.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 hours about basically the beginning to the end. It was really interesting because they get down to the gritty details about what combat was like there, and it's terrifying. It is horrifying. Like the stuff that they described, you don't want to be a part of that.
What show did I watch? Blackadder. It's an old English TV show, and at the end, no spoilers, but this happens every season. At the end, everyone either goes away or dies. But at the end of the season, which was about World War I, everyone just got out of the trenches and died. And it's like, for some reason, when I was watching that, I think it was college time, I was like, oh, war sucks. I've always thought war is like this kind of cool thing and whatever to that point. And then when I saw that, I was like, no, war sucks.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I learned a lot more about the details of how it sucks. Mm-hmm.
Well, at that time, actually, World War I, we were still in this weird adventure mode for young men where they all wanted this. They thought, this is my adventure of my lifetime. I'm an adult. This is what I do. I go have my adventure. I come back. But they didn't come back. They realized this is not an adventure. This is not a fun thing I do for a summer, and then I come back and I'm a man now. It was very serious, very real, and a lot of them realized it quickly.
But too late.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, because of that, I think the next question is, does history repeat itself? And well, not too long after World War II happened, for or not similar reasons, but similar mindsets of World War I. From then on, do you think history could repeat itself?
I don't know if it technically repeats itself, but it definitely plays the same tune. It may be a covered song of itself. But I think you can see similarities throughout history. I think that's the human condition, I think. It's humans. Yeah. It's in us, so that kind of thing happens. But I don't think it's always exactly the same, but it's similar enough.
Well, let's go ahead and read more about this tragedy and get back with some discussion.
Unit 19, Anzacs Honored. Although more than a century has passed, the tragic Battle of Gallipoli remains an important episode in the history of Australia and New Zealand. These countries lost about 500,000 young men in this military disaster. Every April, events are held in Australia and New Zealand, as well as at the site of the battle, to remember the sacrifices of those who fell in combat, and to pray for an end to senseless warfare. Sadly, it does not feel like those prayers are being answered at the moment.